Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Spilled Beans podcast. This is one of your co-hosts, Eric, and today I'm joined with...
It's Trayln, not Trailer. My friends call me Trayln. Hey, man, if you really know me like that, maybe call me Trey Bands, shit. And if you know me by Finsta, you call me Trey 1738.
Are you just giving out your Finsta like that on the first episode?
Okay, bro.
All right, guys. My name is Jehan. If you know me, you call me Jehan. People who don't know me, you call me Jehan. Yeah, let's see. Eric, what we got today?
Super. Today we're talking about the 2019 Oscars.
Yeah,
so, what are our preliminary thoughts on last night's ceremony?
So just like overall, like what we thought?
Yeah.
Shit, well, I mean, like, overall, I guess it was fine. I mean, like, hella shit, I didn't even know what was going on. Like, I'm not gonna act like I knew, like who was gonna win, like, sound editing and shit like that, or, like, documentary, because I didn't watch any of those shits. But, I mean, like, I was surprised about the, I was surprised about Best Picture, not gonna lie. I didn't even see Green Book, but I didn't think that shit should have won. I was surprised with, the lead actress, like, Best Actress, even though I really liked Olivia Colman, but I didn't, like, I mean, like, I was, like, I didn't really see her as, like, a leading actress, honestly, but I should have figured, like, they put her in the category, so, because, like, she, like, her performance probably was my favorite. I just didn't think that she fit, like, the lead actress role.
I agree.
I mean, yeah, those are probably my two biggest surprises, but, I mean, yeah, overall, it was, I don't really know, that was kind of, like, my first, like, real, like, time watching an Oscar, so.
Yeah, nice.
I think more so than the actual awards, I really enjoyed the parts where we got to see people's reactions. I think one of the best ones all night. This year's Willem Dafoe of reactions was Spike Lee.
Yes.
Guy had the best reactions throughout. I think the best one was actually, second best one was when Awkwafina was like trying to make a joke. It was so bad. I feel.
Wait, what did she even say? Because I missed that one, but I remember like
she was like, I saw Spike Lee, and I was like, oh my god, it's Spike Lee, and Spike Lee, like the camera just like cuts to him, and he's like, you can't see my face right now, but he was just like unimpressed, like he did not care for the humor, and I think that was better than the joke itself. But like that was one of the highlights for me. I think the other one was definitely Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga up on stage doing "Shallow." Listen, I legit screamed. I think like everyone in the room with us.
We all screamed. Yeah.
Everyone in the room just like turned around and looked at us, and we're like, no. You don't understand how serious this shit is. Like, Bradley gave her that look like he's about to let go of his kids. Like, he's about to Michael Jordan fuck them kids right now and say goodbye. Like,
I mean, I thought it was kind of crazy how dude's married though. Like, I thought he
just had a girlfriend.
Okay, it's just a girlfriend?
They have a kid together.
But it's like, bro, I thought dude was just like single.
Okay.
And I was like, okay.
She was also in the front row though.
Listen, she got rid of her fiance, and like she doesn't have a fiance anymore. Lady Gaga doesn't.
Shit.
She was just letting the world know why
this
she
honestly
did that.
Was a night for Lady Gaga. I mean,
it was.
She performed. Like, I think 5 minutes after that performance, she had a GIF made of her. A GIF? I don't give a shit how it's pronounced. There's probably haters on this podcast already stopped listening because I pronounced it both ways. But, like, the thing is, listen, she got to sing "Shallow" on stage. She stole the show that way. And then Olivia Colman had the best speech. And guess who she shouts out? Lady Gaga. That's her last words are Lady Gaga.
She even won an award herself.
And she did. I mean, it was Lady Gaga and the Oscars.
With an interesting speech, I thought. I don't know.
One that she's given 400 times before.
Honestly, okay, just a quick thing about that. Some of those speeches, dude, like, made me cringe, like, so hard. Like, the girl, like, the Black Panther person, like, girl that won, like, it was maybe, like, best production, not best production.
I think she was costume. I think she was costume. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Her, like, acceptance speech was just, like, I don't know how it made me feel. I was just, like, I kind of felt like you were doing too much. Like, I don't know. And then, like, sometimes, like, what was Spike Lee? Like, when he won, like, what was he, like, reading, like,
I think he was reading, like, something off a piece of paper or something, yeah.
Yeah, like, it kind of sounded like some, like, family, like, slave type thing, almost, and I was kind of just, like, I don't really know how I feel. Like, I feel like you can, like, be, like, you know, progressive and, like, say something important, but you can do it in, like, good ways, you know? Like, you don't have to do, like, too much with the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think it's a big moment. I think if you,
that's true.
you know,
yeah.
I think the reason the actors do it best is because they got that shit memorized anyways.
That's true.
Like they're all preparing for that, and I mean they're actors. Like, I mean they're probably gonna be the best when they get up on stage in front of all these big names. So
Yeah.
I mean it's only natural. And on another moment for me was just Guillermo del Toro presenting Best Director. That was a really touching moment between Cuarón and del Toro for me.
That's cool.
Eric, what about you? What was your Oscar moment?
I just I like the whole ceremony in general and how there was no host. I just thought it went much smoother than usual. It ended about an hour and a half earlier than usual, and yeah, I
didn't
just
miss the
appreciated
host.
that. Yeah, I mean the bits they usually do with the host are usually the worst parts of the ceremony for me in general.
I mean,
so.
I enjoyed the Amy Poehler thing in the beginning, but if we had a host, that's what it would have been the entire time, and I don't know if I would have made it through.
I honestly didn't even. I completely forgot that there wasn't even going to be a host.
See, the thing, the thing for me is I think this ceremony went much better without a host. I think if the nominees were better, this could have been a really strong Oscar, really strong Oscar ceremony. I think people were most upset about was the nominees and some of the wins, but I think overall it went pretty smoothly.
Yeah.
And Jason Momoa's pink suit.
Bro, he was there.
You didn't see that?
How the fuck was he there? Bro, they invite any actors to that shit, man. Come on, man.
Bro, dude made Aquaman, bro.
Bro,
presented with Helen Mirren on stage.
Bro,
Put some respect on his name,
I didn't know he
bro.
presented, honestly.
He wore this nice pink suit, bro. It was clean.
Nice?
It was clean.
What kind of pink are we talking
No.
about?
It was clean. It was like a powdery. I want to say powdery.
Right.
It was a nice powder.
Jason Momoa.
That's the end of the podcast, actually. Just him saying Jason Momoa.
The ultimate surfer bro at the Oscars. What other movies has that made even have?
Justice League?
Bro, where he is not Aquaman. Does he have anything?
I mean, Game of Thrones. I mean, that's not
Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
Bro, I don't watch Game of Thrones.
He was one of the main characters in the first season of Game of Thrones.
Shit, really? Okay, that seems like it fits.
He was in Baywatch. I mean, Surfer Dude. I think he was in Stargate. If anyone watches that show, I didn't watch that show. I just know he was on there because I was looking through his filmography one day.
Yeah, have not seen that.
Well, next up.
Right,
yeah.
Jason Momoa.
But Jehan, you mentioned how you thought the nominees this year were kind of weak. But I was wondering in general what you guys thought of the nominees in general compared to last year's.
I just think the selection they had last year I think it was just very competitive, you know?
Yeah.
I feel the reason last year's nominees were so hard to choose between was because how good, all of them were. Especially for Best Picture. I think Best Picture, we knew what was going to win.
Right.
You know? But I think the thing is, these are all very good films that were nominated. And it was a very tight race that year.
Just to mention, last year was The Shape of Water, Three Billboards, Get Out, Lady Bird. Those sorts of movies.
Yeah. I mean, you had so many movies that were snubbed. People were complaining about movies getting snubbed, but, you couldn't not recognize the talent that was there, in all four of those movies, that were nominated. So,
I'll say, just from the perspective of someone who doesn't really watch all the movies that are being nominated, and who doesn't know what most of the categories are even about. Last year, I felt I don't know. I just felt the movies were really good that were being nominated. And I didn't even watch half those shits. I had really only seen Get Out, maybe one other, but I had heard the other ones were really good.
Yeah.
And then I've seen them recently, so I know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess it's interesting looking at this and kind of being when I saw Bohemian Rhapsody was nominated for so many, and that Vice was nominated for so many.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was kind of just damn, what's going on here?
Yeah.
It was just it was weird because after watching those movies, I just looked at them as average movies, but I was there's no way this is gonna be an Oscar nominated film, but it happened to be, but I thought it was. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, I think Gavin put it best. So Gavin's another friend of ours. Gavin said these are good feel good movies. These are not movies that you expect to see nominated for an Oscar or something.
Yeah,
right.
And Vice is kind of just trash too. So I mean, at least Bohemian Rhapsody was I enjoyed that shit. I was just oh, it wasn't amazing. Vice, I was sitting through that shit what is this So
I think I watched a little bit of Vice and then I immediately turned it off. The thing is, I was so excited for Vice too. Adam McKay making a Dick Cheney movie, I really thought this would be good too. Because this dude made what was it? Talladega Nights.
Made The Big Short.
Short.
I mean, he made Big Short, right? I mean, that's great. But Talladega Nights, this is epitome of like satirical Bush takes.
Yeah.
There's no reason this dude couldn't made this dude couldn't have made a good Bush movie.
Right.
Like just like his background and stuff. Like I think he was trying to be too intelligent, and he's best when he's just like making a movie from the heart.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, go ahead.
There you go.
Okay, I was just gonna say I don't know if you guys would like agree with this or not, but I feel like he tried too hard to like make it in the same style they did The Big Short. 'Cause I don't know if you guys remember, but there's like a lot of like cameos, like the Margot Robbie thing, how she's just like randomly in it, just like talking about shit, like the weird like montage of like random like clips and stuff. I don't know. I feel like he tried too hard to like replicate that, and then it kind of just like took away from the movie for me. So I was like, I don't know. I felt like the topic didn't really like fit what he was trying to do with it.
I was gonna say that too. Like that style definitely worked for the sort of movie that The Big Short was,
right.
But then he tried to replicate it again here, and it was just not to the same effect. I thought.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have no other thoughts on Vice, and I'd like to quickly move on from Vice because I just don't. It's just not worth the time.
Wait,
Vice is just one more
so,
Vice.
Okay,
take.
one question actually, in terms of like the Christian Bale, like how he was nominated for like Best Actor. Do you guys think that nomination is well deserved? Like, and if so,
See, I watched part of the movie.
Okay,
and
so, like,
I think
just
you can separate the movie from the actor.
See, for me, I was like, is it more so just because he was able to like take on the look so well, like he gained the weight and he like did like really look good in terms of like the character? But I was like, I don't know, in terms of like his performance, I wasn't blown away or anything. I was just like, damn, he really looks like Dick Cheney.
I'll say Vice is just a very Oscar bait movie,
Yeah.
so they're going to want to recognize that sort of performance. Like, I would not say that was one of the top 5 best lead actor performances I've seen, but
people love shitting on the Bush administration, so
Yeah.
we cannot think about what's going on right now.
Right.
Like it's just an easier time to go back to make fun of things because now it's just kind of it's a lot more real
yeah,
than it was.
I don't think he did not deserve it.
Oh no! Dick Cheney, fuck Dick Cheney. This podcast is anti Dick Cheney.
No,
Like,
I'm talking about the performance.
no, we're getting so many subs, bro. When I said fuck Dick Cheney,
Was George Bush really that much of an idiot? Because like,
no,
bro, no, I'm just saying, like in the movie, like Sam Rockwell like acts like a dumbass the entire movie. So I was just wondering, I was like, was he actually like this?
during like public stuff, yeah. One of my professors was telling me about like how he had one of his like staffers, like he knew him personally, like my professor knew him personally, and he'd get like Bush like all these big IR journal papers, and he'd give them to him, and like Bush would read through like I don't know like 15 journals in the morning or something, and he just like he absorbed so much. But I feel like when he talked, I don't know like why he talked so dumb.
Yeah.
Like, I just remember him... It's just so much about the dude. He's just a...
Yeah. I just feel like that portrayal, like, definitely didn't do him.
Oh, no.
justice at
Bro, he does.
all.
I don't think he deserves it. Just, like, watch the clips with him, bro. Like, go watch any clip on YouTube. This dude sounds like a complete dumbass.
Okay.
It still was a very like SNL performance, though. It was a caricature. Like,
It's like Alec Baldwin Trump.
yeah, I mean, if we're talking about like undeserved nominations from that movie, I'd definitely say Sam Rockwell did not deserve that.
Yeah.
He has to, like, know that.
He was in that movie for like probably 10 or 15 minutes.
Like when he saw the nomination, he had to be like, damn, like, how'd
Well,
I
like,
get this shit?
he'd been nominated for like a Golden Globe before too. Like, I don't know what was going on there, but yeah. Okay, so now we're gonna go through some of the categories from the show last night, and maybe our choices for some of the winners too. So we're gonna start with the best visual effects category, which is one of the more fun. People have seen more of the movies there. Okay. So the nominees this year were Avengers: Infinity War, First Man,
Was Ready Player One in this?
I think Ready Player One was in this.
Ready Player One,
Actually, there are no visual effects this year. He's just doing his fucking research last night. Okay, we can start talking about. So
Who won, first of all? Was it?
I'm pretty sure it was First Man, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, First
Okay,
Man won.
and okay.
The thing is, I appreciate. I when I thought about it this morning, I ended up appreciating the choice to go with First Man more. I don't think visual effects should be going to whoever's paying more for their visual effects. And I think that if you gave it to Avengers: Infinity War, what you're saying is you spend more money on special effects and you spend more money on attractions and stuff that looks nice, that's how you get an audience. That's not how you get the... Oh, my God. That is how you get the audience, duh. But that's how you get the Oscar for visual effects. And so I'm glad that they chose something that's like... Even in First Man, what is it? The rocket going up, then landing on the moon. But that shit was breathtaking. Like, that whole sequence on the moon, like, I watched that at my home. Like, in my home, like, I was just upset that I didn't watch that in theaters instead, because that was, like, honestly, it looked beautiful. And it was just something smaller. So, like, for me, I appreciated it more that they gave it to a movie that used the visual effects more intelligently. Yeah. Not just everywhere, you know?
Just to give credit to these movies, the other nominees were Christopher Robin and Solo: A Star Wars Story.
Okay.
Oh, big Solo guys over here.
Yeah, I'd say for sure Solo, Avengers, and Ready Player One were more of your typical blockbuster effects onslaught sort of movies. I thought they all were alright visually. Probably Avengers the most clean looking, I'd say. But I agree, First Man definitely had a more subtle use, definitely realistic portrayal of, like, space missions.
Yeah, I've been in space, and I can fucking tell you, bro.
Not that I've been in a spacecraft before, but it looked pretty real to me.
Baby.
So, yeah.
And also, I mean, they just love space in general.
Yeah.
We're just like, so it's really just between... Actually, no. Wait. Infinity War and Solo were also in space. So, yeah, I guess never mind. I was going to say, like, they always give it to a space movie, but
like
First Man's like the most realistic
sci-fi, yeah.
So, I feel like, I don't know if it's just like space movie fatigue with me, but I really wasn't feeling like First Man in terms of like winning. Like, I definitely like loved the movie.
Yeah.
I thought the effects were awesome. But I don't know, there's just something about Ready Player One that just hits me. I don't know why.
See, that's the movie though. You gotta separate the movie.
But like, okay, does this have something like to do with how I feel about visual effects? If like when I'm watching that movie, when I see like the DeLorean, or when I see like the Shining sequence, and I'm just like, yo, like that shit looks so cool, or like the King Kong thing, I'm like,
that Shining sequence was very real looking.
Right?
I'll say that was a great.
I was like, this movie looks so cool.
Yeah.
Like and like
and I think it's smart. It's a different style completely, and it could have gone completely off the other end, and it didn't. So yeah. And it was still a good. I'd stand by Ready Player One. I think it got a lot of hate. I enjoyed it personally. Would watch it again probably, but not so soon.
I think it's a testament to it that you can make something so unrealistic looking, well, from like a practical standpoint, and see it and like believe in it. You know, like it's easy to, or not easy, but it can be easier, I feel, to take something that like space that we've seen before in pictures and stuff, and recreate that visually. But to create a whole new world like Ready Player One did, it's also impressive in my opinion.
I may also just be biased slightly towards First Man, because when I saw that shit, right, it was probably like a 10 o'clock movie. Big ass movie theater.
Yeah.
It was no one there except for me and Anna. And like, bro, that shit was terrifying. Like, the movie is like super loud, yo, like, as you guys know. And I was just like in there with like no one else, and I'm just like, yo, like, I'm scared right now. Like, this, like, I was like legit scared. I was I wanted to leave, bro. Like, I was like, I want this to be over so I can leave, because I'm like terrified. Like, I was there so late that when we left the movie theater, like, there were no movie theater employees there. It was like the cleaning company that the movie theater like hires to come clean the movie theater at like late hours, from like 12 to like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, yo, like, this just isn't right, bro. So, yeah.
Visual effects. So
all right, so our next category is film editing, which is one of the central parts of filmmaking. And combined with cinematography, the two unique aspects of film compared to other media. So I thought we could discuss a little about how the Oscars had initially chosen to omit cinematography and editing from the ceremony.
Yeah.
Like, not awards at all?
They were going to award them, but during the commercial breaks.
See, that's whack. Didn't they do that last year?
No, this is going to be the first time.
They had a different... I think they had a different thing that they cut out last... Didn't they cut out something last year, though?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
I feel like you just can't do that, bro.
See, and those are two very important categories that like people really appreciate anyways. Like,
right.
I mean, if you want to cut some, like, cut costume and makeup, bro.
I would say like my thing, like even if it's like the smallest thing, bro. Like the Oscars are obviously like a big deal, no matter like which award it is. So
Right.
you know, like you should give like the
I mean, the
winner,
Oscars
like
are
their due respect,
Right.
and like
After the Super Bowl, it's like the second highest,
Yeah.
like watched television show. It's
Right.
like highest like rated.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a big deal. Like if you're gonna go up there and if you win something and then your awards, like you're just not on the TV. Like you're giving your whole speech, like you've been waiting your whole life for this stuff, and then you just don't. You don't.
honestly, you're like, yeah, nobody saw this.
I mean,
Right.
it sucks. And
Yeah.
like, I think it's good that they finally reverted back, and just don't try to change the Oscars. Like, don't stop trying to appeal to people.
Right. Like,
Just you have your audience, you
Yeah.
have people that like movies, and at a certain point, like you gotta find the middle balance between like being an awards show and being an awards ceremony. Like you gotta recognize
Right.
on screen, right? Like if this is a TV program, you're not caring to, or you shouldn't at least care to like go to what people want to see out of your show. Like you
Right.
gotta have some kind of standards for yourself.
yeah.
That's just how I see it. Like be more of a ceremony, less of a show. Like people will gravitate to you. They know what they're coming
Right.
for.
And I think part of this was to shorten the runtime, which already happened dramatically with the no host thing.
And
So
that was great.
It kind of solved itself.
and
Yeah.
can be shortened in more effective ways other than cutting people's like acceptances out. Like you don't have to.
Right.
I think one of the best parts about the Oscar show is like, I mean, you brought up the cringiness, but I think it's honestly just seeing people up there on stage just like so just like happy about their work
Yeah.
being recognized. You know, like
Right.
that's such a special moment for you,
Yeah.
and to get that cut, nah. So that's just how I feel. I mean, as for who the editing nominees were and who the editing win was, I wouldn't have cared if they just didn't show it.
Right. Yeah.
After all that.
Okay. I kind of wanted to drop a little conspiracy in here. So,
We're probably gonna cue some music. All right, conspiracy music.
so of the 4 categories that were omitted, none of them had a nomination for Disney in them. And Disney owns ABC, so there were speculations that Disney themselves had handpicked these categories because none of their movies had been nominated in them. What are your thoughts on this?
Wait. Repeat.
So, of the categories that they were going to omit from the ceremony, none of them had Disney nominations.
Oh, yeah, got
so,
you, got you.
yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like expected. I agree. Like
It's very, very shady on Disney's
Yeah.
part.
I mean, they're a big ass company at this point. Like they can do whatever they want. I mean, they like I'm gonna be in the next Avengers movie, bro. They're gonna own me at some point. Like everyone's gonna be in the next Avengers movie.
Yeah, I mean, all I'd say is, I mean, you never know with these kinds of things. I mean, if it were true, I wouldn't be surprised. They could easily, do that. They have the power to do that.
Right.
But, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's definitely shady. But, no, that's interesting that it was like that, though. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Okay, to get back to the category, the nominees this year were Bohemian Rhapsody, Vice, Black Klansman, The Favorite, and Green Book.
And are we talking about editing right now?
Yes.
Okay.
The winner was Bohemian Rhapsody, which was a controversial choice.
Okay, I'll start with a question.
Yes.
Like, in terms of, like, with The Favorite, how it did, like, the parts,
Yes.
like, is that, like, a part of, like, editing? Or...
Wait, what
What do you mean, like scene by scene?
Well, because, like, it would, like, how it, like, split everything up into, like, this is part that, this is part this. Like, does that have...
Oh,
Like, it was, like, the black with, like, the...
I guess it's like a part of
kind
it.
of.
Okay, I
Yeah.
And more like how like the shots are like arranged together
Yeah.
as well.
How the movie
Okay.
flows.
And Bohemian Rhapsody, just like at this point, I haven't seen the movie, but everyone's been posting the clips online.
Yeah.
And like I've seen maybe like 7 or 8 clips online of like different scenes, and there's maybe like 80 different cuts between in like a 2-minute sequence. Like there is
Yeah.
no like that's not an editing award for like best editing. That's an editing award for like most editing. Like I'm glad you know how to like use a clip, you cut it to 2 seconds, and then cut to a different clip. Like I'm glad you learned how to
Right.
use Premiere, but like, come on, like that's not best editing.
I kind of wonder if that was a product of the production of the film, where there were a lot of arguments between the director and
Oh yeah,
the cast and how he would storm off set. Like, I wonder if they didn't have enough like footage.
Oh yeah, I'm
shot.
sure like half of that movie was like, or like what was it, a third of that movie was reshot, and I
Right.
would not be surprised if they were like in between random scenes like
Yeah.
that,
So
and it wasn't
yeah.
like middle of the movie kind of reshot thing, you know?
I bet that's why it was choppy like that.
And honestly,
but-
it's also because I think, was it John Ottman that received that award for Bohemian Rhapsody? I think it was John Ottman.
Yeah.
But Ottman does like, so Ottman's like singer's go-to guy. Like this dude does his like, I think his scores for most of the movies he does. And I think for like X-Men Apocalypse, this dude was juggling the responsibilities of score, editing, and production. And he said it was like so much for him. Like at a certain point, like he was like he was having like breakdowns, you know. And I would not be surprised if the same thing was happening on Bohemian Rhapsody as well. Because I'm pretty sure he was like put in a somewhat executive position for this movie. So, and then once all the singer controversy happened, like I'm sure it got even worse for him.
Do you guys think it would be just for him to be awarded the award based on the notion that he had put together the movie in the situations that he was given it?
No,
not at all.
See, I don't think you should give. That's not my fault, or that's not my problem. I mean, you can use the same logic for fucking Justice League. Like, okay, the director
Justice
walked
League
up,
was a much worse movie, in my opinion.
but the editing, bro. I'm talking about. You're looking at a movie. You're just looking at its editing. Bohemian Rhapsody's editing is fucking trash.
But the movie itself is not the worst.
But the thing that's the thing. Like these categories are supposed to like recognize specific elements. Like you can't look at the film holistically. You know, like.
But the fact that he was able to edit what he was given.
You know what was editing snub? Mandy. Everyone, go see Mandy. That's what y'all need to see. Alright, that's enough. That's my Mandy plug for the episode. Keep looking out for those.
Wait, who did you guys think should have won that category?
If I was voting, I'm not sure who I would have voted for, but of the nominees, I'd probably say Black Klansman.
Yeah, I said Black Klansman as well. I just had that last shot in mind where they're both coming towards the camera and it kind of cuts to the burning happening outside.
Right.
And that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
The whole edit, like the editing alone in that sequence, like discounting everything else, I don't remember as well, you know?
Right.
Just that was like stronger than most of the other movies, I want to say, and I didn't get a chance to see a favorite, so.
Right. In terms of odds, I know that Vice was the favorite to win, but that was just probably a result of it being like the most edited movie sort of thing.
Yeah, they had like a weird Ken Burns shit. Like, you know how the Ken Burns had those documentaries? Do you ever watch those in like middle school? Like they'd show you like the Native American documentaries and they'd be like, they like pan down and they'd show you like the Midwest and stuff. That like go watch Ken Burns on PBS. Like Vice is edited like a Ken Burns documentary. And Ken Burns is good though, but Vice
All right, on that note, moving on
Ken
to
Burns.
Best Director.
Ken Burns.
Ooh.
This year's nominees for director were Alfonso Cuarón, Adam McKay, Yorgos Lanthimos, Spike Lee, and Paul Pawlikowski for Cold War. So, what are your thoughts on Cuarón winning this award?
Well, so, you know, I'll first say that I did not see Roma.
Yes.
I'm going to assume that he deserves that shit, because, I mean, hell, people said that movie was good. The shit looks really good, so I'm assuming the movie was good, and I'm assuming, you know, a good movie requires a pretty good director.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't have any problems with that. I mean, I really loved The Favorite, and I also really loved Black Klansman. I thought that would have been awesome if Spike Lee would have won. But, I mean, I'm sure, you know, this guy really deserved to win.
Right. I myself wasn't a huge fan of Roma, but I definitely see why it was definitely a good achievement directing-wise, for sure.
I mean, compared to the other people in the category, yeah, I think I originally wanted Spike Lee, and then I realized like who would end up winning was probably Cuarón for Roma.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was so special to see Spike Lee on that ballot, especially after you know. Yeah. I mean, this is his first nomination too.
Really?
I'm pretty sure this was his first nomination. Yeah, it's crazy. Dude's made some good movies, bad movies. I think I mean, even his bad movies are, like interesting. Yeah. And I wouldn't say they're bad. I just say they're like meh. They're like fine. Right. But I think the dude's had several ups and downs, and I think Black Klansman was definitely like more of an up in his career trajectory. Like I liked Black Klansman. I think the ending was a little exploitative, but overall I really enjoyed it, and I think he would have been just as deserving for the best director. Adam McKay, was he nominated?
He was. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my thoughts on Adam McKay. You got any thoughts on McKay, bro?
My last thing was gonna be like, I didn't really see how he was put into this over Bradley Cooper as well. I was kind of just like
over Chris McQuarrie, bro. Chris McQuarrie for Mission Impossible Fallout.
okay.
I'm just
Not
Dude,
that would be a typical Oscar
it's really not.
movie, but I do agree with you that that movie is much more impressive.
The directing, like, oh, never mind. That's a different episode for Fallout. Stay tuned.
All right. And now on to the big award of the night, Best Picture. The nominees we had were Black Panther, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, Green Book, Roma, A Star is Born, and Vice. Now, we all watched last night. We know what happened. So what are our thoughts on Green Book being the best picture of the year?
Jehan, it's still fresh on your mind, so maybe you should go first.
All right, so before I say anything about Green Book, like, I just want to say, I think the reason why everyone was so about the Oscars is probably because of the Best Picture category. Like, the nominations for this year's Best Pictures, probably not even the best pictures of the year. Like,
super weak. I'd agree.
I really think there were some better, like, there were definitely better movies that came out this year. I think if you're cross-cutting Roma from foreign to Best Picture as well, I mean, I'm sorry, but Spider-Man is probably better than half the movies on that list. Like, Spider-Man is definitely in my top 3 for that year, and I know a lot of other people like really enjoy that movie as well, and it's really well done.
Yeah.
And overall, acting, animation, just score, everything. Like, that movie's just great overall.
Right.
I think there's just so many other better movies, and I've heard people say, oh, like, look at the nominees for Best Picture for 2019. Like, it's not looking that good. Like, 2018 had no good movies, and I cannot stress enough that that's so fucking wrong. Like, there were so many good movies that came out this year, and the Academy just had to choose, like, I mean, they're not bad to say, but they're not, like, they are far from the best. Yeah. Like, 3 of those were heavy hitters. These were movies that did well with audiences, and you could tell, like, at a certain point, like these were voted because people will be watching to see what happens. Like, what's the fate of Black Panther and Bohemian, as well as Star is Born. Star is Born has a big following too.
Right.
So I mean, that's just like the first thought that I have, honestly, on that. But as for Green Book itself, so I actually, like, after last night, I was kind of mad that Green Book won, but I also got it right. Like, I kind of knew that this would happen. Because, I mean, hey, we know. Green Book. So I've been watching it today.
Yes.
That's really where we're supposed to start. I started watching it today, and I don't think it's that bad as people are saying. And I think so.
You mean from a racial perspective, right?
I think from, like, a film perspective.
Okay.
And I think that from a racial perspective, it's definitely, like, some scenes are confusing. Like, I don't know if the film's taking the same perspective. It seems a little bit unclear as to what the film is trying to say. Mm-hmm. And I haven't finished the film yet, so I really don't know what the end result is that, that culminates from this whole movie. But there's just some scenes that kind of stick out to me. There's a whole fried chicken scene. I was uncomfortable by it, but it was like a bonding moment between the driver and Mahershala Ali's character.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, there's like a scene where Viggo, there are several scenes when Viggo Mortensen is, like, racist, like, flat out just doing racist shit, and the movie's like, that Viggo, he's so funny, and it's just like, and then when other people are racist, it's like, hey man, bro, no, that's not cool, like, you're not supposed to do that. And then Viggo's all like, hey man, it's not cool. No, he actually, I go, I can't do the Italian accent, it's racist. But, like, he puts on this, like, really shit Italian accent. I mean, it's, you can agree with me on this, right?
It's one of the worst parts of the movie.
It's a really bad Italian accent.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey man, like, there's nothing wrong. He's writing a letter to his wife, and he's like, yeah, I'm eating some ketchup on some Chinese noodles. That's a really bad Italian accent. Shit, can we cut that out? No. But he has, like, a really shit Italian accent. Like, literally his words are, I'm eating shitty tomato sauce on Chinese noodles. And I was like, alright, I guess. I mean, there's a lot that... It's, like, fine. I don't think it's, like, that bad. I think it's more of, like, a feel-good movie about how like racism is resolved, so that you have something to talk about over Thanksgiving dinner about race relations being all right. You know, it's like one of those kinds of movies, but it's definitely not Best Picture kind of movie for me. Yeah. What are y'all thoughts on Green Book?
I think it's very much a movie that feels like it was made like 20 years ago. Like these people are not really like in the touch with like where we are culturally, I'd say. And the fact is that they voted on it. They thought it was fine. Like I was like, okay. I mean, I know the Academy has tried to like push like diversity in the last few years or whatever, but I don't think that's showing here. But
well, so haven't seen Green Book.
Yeah.
But in terms of like it winning, I mean, like when I was like going over, like trying to like decide who I thought would win, it's kind of weird because like I immediately like eliminated that as an option, like even though I hadn't seen it. But it's like, you know, not to like, you know, like judge like a movie that I haven't seen, but I feel like based on the way that I felt about The Favorite, Black Klansman, and A Star Is Born, I was like, there's no way that Green Book is going to be better than any of these three movies. Yeah. Now, obviously, I haven't seen it, but I immediately eliminated that one. And then with Roma, that was kind of just one that I kind of eliminated because, like, I hadn't seen. But then when it won, like, Best Foreign Film, I was like, okay, then now it doesn't really have to win Best Picture.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I was really feeling The Favorite, man. I mean, A Star Is Born, I really liked it, but I didn't really know if, like, that type of movie would be, like, given Best Picture.
Right.
I mean, like, you know, once, like, it's important to note that I also don't know what types of movies win Best Picture.
Yeah.
Because, like, this was, like, my first, like, real time watching the Oscars. But I don't know. It just didn't seem like the type of movie that would win a Best Picture. But The Favorite just kind of seemed like, I don't know. Like, I really enjoyed it. Like, it was by far, like, my favorite, like, out of, like, everything there. And it just, I don't know. It kind of seemed like the movie, like, the type of movie that would win Best Picture at an Oscars. And Black Klansman was, like, a close second for me. I thought that, you know, if not The Favorite, that it would be that. So, I mean, I was pretty surprised, honestly, and that's without even seeing Green Book.
Like, on my want ballot, I had Black Klansman.
Yeah.
Like, I had two separate ones. On the ones I actual, I put Green Book, but on that one I put Black Klansman. Like, I thought, out of the ones that they chose, like, I don't think for the whole year, like, no way. But for the ones that they chose, I think, and the ones that I saw, so of course I didn't see The Favorite, I thought Klansman was the obvious choice.
Right. From what you mentioned, I think the biggest difference from Green Book between, like, Black Klansman, A Star Is Born, is just those are not happy ending movies. Like, Green Book is just, like, a crowd pleaser. I feel like it's just more of a consensus choice than those other movies.
Yeah. I agree with that, but I also don't agree completely of it being, like a crowd... Like, it is a crowd pleaser, but, like, a happy movie. You know, I think between the Grammys and the Oscars, like, you're seeing two... I think, what was it, best song was This Is America? Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And this year, like, Best Picture is Green Book. Like, I'm sorry, but both of those are trash. And now you wonder, like, oh, yeah, what's the connection? But, like, both of them are, like, inherently about, like, black struggle. Or, like, it's like black torture almost. Like, This Is America is very clearly that.
Yeah.
The music video and stuff, like, the song itself is trash. I mean, it's not trash, but it's not Gambino's best, and it's not best song worthy, and it's like, I mean, what? It's just
made
weird
to be listened to on its own.
No,
which made it weird.
Exactly.
For the Grammys, it just very much seemed like pandering,
and
like, politically.
I mean, pandering like to whomst?
Like woke Twitter.
Also, Green Book had, just to get back to that, Green Book had won a couple awards throughout the night, right? Like,
yeah, it won the Screenplay Award.
And then
Mahershala Ali won Supporting Actor.
So, I don't know. I felt like it had, like, done enough for the night. So, like, for it to get that, I was like, whoa. Like,
yeah.
That's kind of...
I mean, even for it to win Screenplay is questionable for me. I mean, it's very cringy at parts for me.
I agree. Now, let me ask you guys a question. So, for Green Book, what did you guys think of when they got up on stage and they were dick riding the fuck out of Viggo Mortensen and didn't say anything about Mahershala Ali's acting?
I didn't see that personally. Like, I was just kind of tuned out after they announced
the first thing they said. First of all, this would, like, never be. We'd never be here without Viggo Mortensen. Viggo's the best. Viggo's the greatest. And you can just see, like, an awkward ass, like, Viggo Mortensen, like, staying in the corner, just, like, not saying anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I have a feeling The reason why so someone put this on Twitter. How true it is, who knows? But it was probably someone at the Oscars.
Okay.
And he said, when Green Book was announced, Spike Lee waved his arms in the air and ran, like, was trying to get out of the theater, and the guard stopped him. And after they got off stage for Green Book, like, he got back to his seat again.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling Viggo Mortensen didn't come up to the mic because he saw Spike Lee in that first 4 rows or whatever, looking like that. So, I mean, I thought it was a weird speech to give. Like, dude, come on. Like, Mahershala just won Best Supporting Actor, and you're going to, like, ride the hell out of Viggo Mortensen?
It's definitely not a good look. I mean, I'll say that.
Like, if you're trying to show race relations, I mean, just try. Yeah. It's not that hard. Like, try to seem nice.
Yeah.
And, I mean, well, I'm assuming Viggo's performance was pretty good, though.
I mean, like, was it?
I don't really think so.
No,
he was nominated.
Okay. But does he deserve it?
Okay.
It was a fine performance. Wasn't noteworthy for me.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they're not separating the movie from the role again, like, because his acting was, like if you've seen Viggo Mortensen movies, like, he's a good actor. The Captain Fantastic?
Yeah.
He's really good in that movie. He's strong as hell.
Yeah.
But this one, he's just kind of, like, doing this fake Italian accent, like, moping around saying racist shit. And they're like, ho, this guy's got it in the bucket.
Yeah. I mean, definitely not a good look, especially after Mahershala won supporting actor. That kind of just, like, makes it even worse, I think, that you're not, like, giving him any credit, but I don't know. What are you going to do, man? It's tough.
Hey, what are your thoughts on, any final thoughts on Green Book?
I did see the movie, and I wasn't as, like, shocked by the racist stuff that people were saying. Like, I do think the movie does try to solve racism at the end by, like, inviting him into their, like, racist families, like, dinner, their Christmas dinner, and they're all fine with it or whatever. But, I mean, yeah, like, there was a lot more with Mahershala's character than I was expecting, like, on an internal level, where they were focusing on him more than I thought they would, and not just, like, using him as, like, a part of the story in a way. Like, he was much more fleshed out than I thought, so I thought that was well done. But, I mean, just as a whole, I don't think it went as deep as it could have, or if, like, the movie itself did as much as it could have with that subject in general. So, yeah.
And I think it's a perfect leeway now to Eric's point about, you want to talk about the hive mind and its relation to Green Book? I
did. So, when Green Book was announced as Best Picture, I think almost everyone in the room, like, yelled, which is kind of weird.
Including me, bro. I yelled. I haven't seen the movie, but I yelled.
Right. So what does that say about how we're viewing these sort of ceremonies? Like, should we be viewing the movies that get awarded like this? Like, it's not their fault that they're winning, you know?
Right.
I will say it's kind of like, all right. So I remember, like, we were having this, like, conversation about Bohemian Rhapsody, and we were like, Eric, I remember you were there, and we were talking about, like, the editing and whatever, how that was bad.
Right.
And I remember you saying, like, okay, well, it's, like, not, like, you know, Bohemian Rhapsody's fault that it's, like, getting nominated, right?
Right.
And I felt like my response was that when you're just, like, naturally, like, critiquing something, like, or criticizing it, like, how you, like, believe it it should be, like, it's naturally gonna, like, come off as if, like, you're, like, shitting on the movie.
Yeah.
I feel like it's hard to, like, in, like, situations like this, to, like, separate, like, the criticism from, like, the fact that, oh, it can't control that it was, like, nominated.
Right.
But you're, like, not saying, like, oh, this movie is, like shitty, it's terrible. You're just, like, it should not be, like, nominated because it doesn't, I don't know. It doesn't.
Right.
I don't know what I'm trying to say.
But I do feel like these movies are getting more hate now that they were nominated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like that. But, I mean, I feel like, you know, just criticism, like, if you're just like, this movie should not be nominated because this aspect of it is not good. It's not worthy of a nomination. That's fair. Now, if you're just going to, like, be, like, just unnecessary hating on it because of that, that's not cool. It shouldn't be like that.
And with the introduction of, like, the internet and, like, Twitter to spread ideas, do you think that this effect has been, like, amplified now that, like, film Twitter can, like, view a film and sort of disseminate these ideas, and then people can kind of like hop on the bandwagon and not necessarily even see the movies, but then still have an opinion on it.
I mean, you can say about anything though. Like you can say about like, I mean, just the internet in general. Like, you can say that about like the next Avengers movie coming out. Like someone's gonna see it and someone's gonna hate it, and they're gonna say, "Oh my god, I did all these things wrong," and like this is not how these characters are supposed to act.
Right.
And then I mean, those people have like their bandwagoners. You know, like people have they have their own fans, right?
Right.
And so their fans are just gonna naturally agree with them, and it's just like, I mean, like you said, the hive mind is just it's a different. Everyone has a different personality that exists on the internet.
Right.
You know, and that personality is not one that's formed from an individual identity, but a group identity.
Yeah.
And I think that also goes towards, like, I mean, when you're watching the Oscars, like, everyone has ideas about what they want to win.
Yeah.
Like, everyone has an opinion about everything. Like, no one's, like, you can't afford to not have an opinion at this point.
Right.
You know, you're either you're betting on it, or you have to have something to talk about, so you need to, like, you know, these are just, like, normal conversation points at this point. You know, like, your opinion, like, it matters. Like, if you don't have an opinion, it's, like, the same thing as, like, being disconnected.
But, like, do you need an opinion?
No one needs an opinion. I mean, but, like, everyone feels the need to now.
Yeah, but,
like I feel like if you don't have an opinion on movies anymore, like, you're like, oh. Or not like you don't have an opinion on movies, but, like, you don't know what's, like, going on. Like, I feel like Oscars have reached, like, that kind of pop culture status now, where, like, if you don't know what, at least one category, like maybe Best Picture or something, Best Animated Feature, if you don't know what you want to win for at least one category, people are, like, sussed out.
Right.
And that's just part of the internet hive mind. Like, if you don't subscribe to the group identity or whatever group identity you follow, then you're gonna be alienated.
Right.
That's just how it works. I mean, Trayln, you got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would just say it's kind of interesting how, like, even though I'm not the type of person to do this, but I could easily just, like, shit on Green Book just based off of things that I've heard, or maybe, like, seen on, like, YouTube or heard other people say. Yeah. And, like, I've never even seen the movie, but I could have, like, all these things to, like, say about it.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you know.
I mean, I did.
Just goes your point. Yeah.
I definitely, I mean, guilty as charged. Like, I definitely shout on Green Book, and, like, I think, like, based on, like, things that I heard, I was like, yeah, like, this movie's definitely, like, racist. Like, you're telling me, like, you can solve racism in, like, 2-hour movie or whatever. And I think that, yeah, the movie does fall trapped to that. Like, there is no doubt about it that the movie falls trapped to it. Mm-hmm. But I think that it's been heavily exaggerated as well. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like, you could say that about Black Klansman too. I really liked Black Klansman. But if you really want to look into Ron Stallworth's story, like, look at his biography. The dude worked for the FBI, but you decided to conveniently remove that from the story. Yeah. Because he was giving tips to the FBI about what was going on with these black civil rights leaders in his town. Yeah. And then in the movie, he's just, like, shown as this, like, oh, he's this divided guy, he's between both sides. But in the movie, he's, like, very clearly an FBI... I mean, in the book, in his own life, he's an FBI informant, working against the Black Power movement. Yeah. And now you've decided to make a movie where... Also, on that movie, there's no, like... There's, like, one dirty cop, but he's, like... He's the only one, like, outwardly dirty cop, and he's, like, super racist and stuff. Yeah. And at the end of the movie, like, oh, it's this huge celebration that the cops are now, like, they're, like, all celebrating the arrest of this racist cop for doing some illegal shit, whatever he was doing, but he got caught in the act, right? And all the police officers... I mean, if you want to talk about, like, solving easy race relationships, look at Black Klansman. Like, it does that. And, I mean, I think it's not getting hate because... I mean, yeah, it's directed by Spike Lee, and it stars, Mr. whatever Washington, whatever his first name is.
John David Washington.
Yeah. And so I think that's been heavily exaggerated by Green Book as well because of who's behind the camera. I mean, yeah, that's just...
I do think that's, like, a different, like, subject, though, just because that is followed by, like, the footage of, like, the Charlottesville... like rallies where
but in those Charlottesville rallies they're not showing how the cops aren't doing anything to better the situation.
Well, it's not the cops, it's just like they're not like solving racism in that way. They're just bringing the point across that racism is like still obviously an issue today, like, you know.
Yeah, but I don't think then I mean I haven't seen all of Green Book yet either, but I don't think but does Green Book try to like solve, like, does it say that it's like,
I mean,
like, to a different degree? Like, I'm asking you now, like, honestly. Like,
yeah, the movie does end with him, like, previously in the movie, the family, like, the Italian family had been saying racist slurs, like, sort of thing. And then Marshall Ali's character shows up to their Christmas dinner and they're all just welcoming and happy about him being there, like suddenly, you know?
Yeah.
And it's sort of just like,
yes,
like Vigo like changed and now everything's fine, you know? Like, for our last segment, I thought we could just sort of go around, discuss maybe one thing that we've seen that we want to plug.
In terms of just movies?
Yeah, anything. Yeah.
Okay. Do I have to go first?
I mean, if you want, you should go. You go first.
Something that I'm watching.
Maybe a TV show. I think it'd be a TV show too, bro. If you're really feeling it.
Anything.
Okay.
Music. Anything.
I will say, music could be interesting. I did just start listening to the Kehlani album though. It's kind of good. So
Love it. Yeah.
It's really good. But I'd always plug My Hero Academia. I mean that.
Nice.
One of my favorite anime. My favorite anime of all time, actually. But yeah, I don't really have anything.
Any favorites on the Kehlani album?
I mean, I listened to the first 2 songs, both really good. I can't remember the names, but I'm sure the album's gonna get better. I just saw Isn't It Romantic? Not a bad movie, honestly.
Good.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Liam Hemsworth, bro. Okay, him and Chris are like very funny, and I feel like it's like underrated, like how funny they are. Like Chris, definitely.
Yeah.
But like Liam is funny too, dude. Like he was the best part of that movie by far.
He's definitely just typecast as like a romantic.
Yeah, it's like you think they're like, they're like all cute and like
Right.
serious and stuff like that, but no, they're like really funny dudes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Eric, what about you, buddy?
So I saw How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World this weekend, and I was very impressed by it, actually. I had seen the other 2, and I thought they were good. But I'd definitely say this was more impressive to me than the second installment of the series. And I appreciated that this movie was, like, in its, like, most simple form, like, a romance between 2 dragons, which is something I haven't seen very much. So that was fun. And there were a few scenes where they were just like interacting, and obviously they don't speak English or anything, so like it was just like a very like visual storytelling sort of scenes, and I thought they were very impressive. So yeah. And overall, just like the animation itself was amazing. Yeah.
Any other movies or TV shows you've been watching?
Not really, just stuff for class. Yeah.
That's true though.
Yeah.
So that leads me to mine, and I gotta plug my show right now. Doom Patrol.
Wow.
Listen, Doom Patrol had some questionable promos. I mean, I thought it was gonna be fun. I'm honestly shocked by how good that pilot was, and I watched the second episode just the other day, and it got even better. Like, I'm very surprised. They're going for a very like character-driven show, and I know they try to do that with Titans, but Titans just like everything just doesn't work as well in Titans. And it was just it was awful. But Doom Patrol, like Brendan Fraser as Robot Man. Oh my god, I'm forgetting his name. Nathan Bohm, some like that. But he's Negative Man, and his whole face is like covered the whole time. Like these are like such like all the characters are so good too. And in the first episode, you're introduced to like Robot Man, and just read on the website. There's a review for it. I'm not gonna get into it too much.
Okay.
But as for movies, I recently rewatched The Death of Stalin, which is one of 2018's best comedies, and I will say that it's one of the best political satires I've seen too.
Better than Vice.
Vice is nominated for Best Pictures. I don't know if it could beat it.
Okay. All right. So, thanks everyone for listening.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next week because we are
2
on
weeks.
spring break.
Miami.
Spring break.
LOL.
Any last things? There's we're queuing a music track here.
Yeah. This has been cool.
Yeah.
If anyone listens to this, shit, I wonder what y'all gonna think.
I'm impressed you made it all the way through all of that.
To all 3 of our listeners.
Props to you.
Wait, how long was this? This was a good amount of time.
This shit an hour. We're cutting it. We're gonna cut this down probably.
Oh yeah. On that note, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Bye, guys.